Good morning, everybody. Let's begin, as always, by ringing the bell 3 times. And we'll let that sound and vibration invite us into this room, into our human bodies, and into this human experience together. Path clearing and wish fulfilling prayer to Padmasambhava, followed by our refuge prayer. Dusum Sangye Guru Rinpoche Nundru Kunda Devar Chen Poja Barche Kunsel Tudru Drakotel Solwan Depso Jinji Laptu So Shinang Sangwe Barche Jiwadan Sambalji Drupar Jinji Lo. Precious guide, one with all the Buddhas of the 3 times, blissful presence and source of all spiritual accomplishments, fierce destroyer of illusion who dispels every obstruction, we pray to you for blessing, inspiration, and realization. Please remove all outer, inner, and secret obstacles and spontaneously fulfill our aspiration. Sangye chodang soki choknam la Chongchu bardu dakni kapsur chi Daki jinso ki pe sonam ki Drolar penshir sangye drupar sho. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened, through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened, through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened, through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. The great Yogi Milarepa sang, "My body is the holy mandala itself, wherein resides the Buddhas of all times. With their blessings I am freed from all needs and attachments. By day and night I offer them up. Happy am I to do without material things, knowing that all beings in the 6 realms of samsara are inherently Buddhas, and all 3 worlds the self-creating measureless Trikaya palace. Whatever I do is the play of the Dharmadhatu, ultimate reality. Whoever I'm with is the Yidam deity. Wherever I stay is the Buddha's abode. Happy am I to forego outer supports, rituals, and symbols." So we begin with some chanting this morning, and we can use this experience to bring ourselves into awareness of this physical human experience. focusing on the sensations that we feel as we're making sound and receiving sound. We'll chant Om Benzar Sato Hum, which is a Tibetan purification mantra. Om Benzar Sato Hum, 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 Benzar Sato Hum, Om Benzar Sato Hum, Om. Sitting with the three naturals, natural body, natural breath and energy, and natural heart-mind. Sitting not too tight, not too loose, supported and upright. Breathing fully into the lower lungs. Aware of the sensation of our breath as we breathe in and out. And using that sensation as an anchor as needed. Each time you find yourself distracted, I need something in this moment to come back to. And sitting with open, natural, honest curiosity. Staying awake and aware in this moment only moment. Aware of all the sensations of our physical bodies. Aware of the thoughts that arise. The emotions that are triggered. Aware of our tendency to travel into the past or the future. Thinking about what has happened or what might happen. Awareness of that habitual tendency allows us to come back right here. As mundane as it may seem, right here, right now. So as we sit, there's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do. Just simply be here, be present. Open to everything that you're experiencing. Awareness of your awareness. So just sit and breathe and be. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 May all beings everywhere, with whom we are inseparably interconnected and who want and need the same as we do, may all be awakened, liberated, healed, fulfilled, and free. May there be peace in this world and throughout all realms of existence. An end to war, violence, poverty, injustice, and oppression. And may we all together complete this spiritual journey. Coffee is a nice offering. So, if you're a Facebooker, the thing this week has been let's post a picture of me 10 years ago and my picture today. Which is cute. See what you looked like 10 years ago? Go, oh, he's aged. She's aged. Because we've all aged. Some of us look better, some of us look worse. Some of us just look. What's missing to me is what's different? What's different with you? What wisdom have you gained in that 10 years? For me, I was thinking about this last night, and I rather awkwardly and forcefully stumbled face first into this 10 years ago. Oh, I'd been meditating since I was 12 years old, but stumbled and tripped and fell face first into a big cake of Buddhism. 10 whole years ago. Doesn't seem like very long. But for me, it's a lifetime of change. And I, of course, stumbled into a room full of purists that Buddhism only this way, no other way. White people talking like this. And one of the things that the purists were grumbling over was the mindfulness movement, and how this movement, this corporatization of the mindfulness idea was sort of stealing from or bastardizing the practice. So many of the teachers were staying away from that word, we're not using that term. And there's something wrong about that. There's something very profound about the simplicity of understanding mindfulness. We can call it enlightenment, we can call it awakened awareness, we can call it whatever you'd like. But mindfulness is what? The opposite of mindlessness, which is our typical habit. We mindlessly just sort of, not in a bad way, I'm not judging, but we habitually and mindlessly just sort of roll with it, right? Something happens, something triggers, and we go down a pattern of thought. We start thinking about the past, we start getting anxious about the future, we feel depressed, we feel anxious, back and forth and back and forth. And we know from this practice and from the million times that I've said it, that awareness sanctifies everything. Right? Being aware of it brings us to the solution of it. But without mindfulness of that, then we're missing the diagnosis. We don't know we're ill until we've got the diagnosis, right? Something's off. We know something's off. 10 years ago, I knew something was really off. And it wasn't until I started facing those discomforts, looking behind them. What's behind that discomfort? What's causing that? And learning not to get attached to what we find behind it. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, why am I this way? I've shared with you before that I've realized in my process that part of the reason I get very anxious in traffic is that I experienced a really ugly wreck in my high school years. I was on a bus that collided with a car and a trash truck, and it was really uncomfortable, to the fact that I suppressed it. I didn't even really remember it until I started pulling away the curtains and the layers of what really bothers me about traffic and makes me feel unsafe, makes me feel fear. Because in a split second something happens and it wasn't even intentional. And something really uncomfortable happens from that. And something traumatic. So when we get to that point of, oh, that's the thing, we can live in the wreck again. Or we can see that's the reason and let go of it. Rather than being continually victimized by it, we can identify what's causing the discomfort, being aware of it. Mindfulness is really just about knowing what's happening while it's happening. So while I'm driving and I start to feel anxious, and I can go, oh, there's that trigger from that thing. And rather than going back to just the thing and having to pull over because I'm going to have an anxiety attack, I can't move forward. I can see that it's just my fear. And I can be aware to navigate through it. Make sense? So there's something about really making friends with and coming to terms with our own neuroses, our own patterns, and seeing it for what it is, and not judging it, but identifying it, so that there we can find the solution. If we know we're ill, we can take steps toward healing. Does that feel hard? Can you do that? Can you be aware? Mindful? In theory. It gets easier when we continually practice bringing ourselves to a mindful state. It becomes a habit. And it becomes the habit that replaces the habit of mindlessness. But you must practice it. Outside of this room, in your car, in your home, while brushing teeth, while making coffee, aware of making coffee, aware of drinking coffee, aware of the joy of drinking coffee, and eating 3 cookies before we started, just so we could, because they were really good. But it replaces that which has been creating the discomfort, unknowingly, the suffering that we just habitually get into. Right? The mindless pattern leads to a suffering state. And we don't understand why we're in a suffering state, and we just feel bad, and then we try to distract ourselves from it with whatever vice, whatever distraction. So can you make little changes? Remind yourself in some way to be mindful. So last week I told you to put a little sticky on your bathroom mirror that says kind, to remind you to be kind to yourself. Did anybody do it? I did it. I took my own advice. And it made me smile every darn day. Well, I put a little goofy grin below it too, so. So remind yourself this week to be mindful. Add another post-it. We'll have a whole bunch. It's the new decor. To be mindful. How can we be mindful in each and every moment? By being aware of what you're doing while you're doing it. What's happening. Right? Sounds simple. Sometimes maybe hard. Just like learning a new instrument. Right? Does anybody play instruments? Or tried to play an instrument and failed? Been a few of my endeavors that failed. And why does it fail? Because we don't practice it. We do it a couple times and it sounds terrible. So we give it up, put it aside, rather than coming back to it and trying it again, and getting a little more proficient, and a little smoother each time. Mindfulness becomes a habit. Over my 10 years, it has become more of my habit than not. It made a profound difference. So you try it. And then post your picture in 10 years. See if there's a smile on your face in 10 years. Yeah. So, thoughts, questions, difficulties? There's a lot of cookies, folks, and they're good. I've sampled them all.
Does that mean you touched every cookie?
I just licked the one corner. You can determine which corner, you'll be okay. Oh my goodness. All right, as we begin to close today, we'll read the 4 dharmas of Gampopa and Longchenpa, and then follow that with the prayer for 10 accomplishments, and then our dedication prayer. Bless and empower us that our minds and hearts turn toward the Dharma. Bless and empower us that our Dharma practice becomes the path. Bless and empower us that the path truly dispels confusion. Bless and empower us that that confusion itself dawns as primordial awareness, Rigpa. May we realize true sincerity and integrity, inner purity of mind, dispassionate equanimity toward all we see, right understanding of this dreamlike world and the next, loving compassion toward others, and the genuine intention to be helpful in alleviating suffering and confusion. May we directly perceive the truths of impermanence, mortality, and interconnectedness. Relinquish wandering thoughts and rampant desires. Accomplish freedom of mind and clarity of spirit. Remember with gratitude those who have gone before and shown the way. And vow to reach together full and complete enlightenment. Jongchuk Semcho Rinpoche Makye Panam Kyegyurchi Kepanyam Parme Payong Gonge Gongdu Perwar Sho May the pure and brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion, unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to liberate them. Delusions are inexhaustible. We vow to transcend them. Dharma teachings are boundless. We vow to realize them. The Buddha's enlightened way is unsurpassable. We vow to embody it. Thanks all you Buddhists. Hang out and enjoy some coffee and some other Buddhists.